with a divorce, you controlled your life forever. You can't control that.
No, I couldn't.
It's two people that involved in divorce. Bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this, and I'm glad you guys are asking because I don't mind talking about this. But I was bad. She was awesome. She really was. It was all me. I was just, look, we don't need to talk about what I was doing, but I wasn't protecting her and protecting those vows. So, sometimes when you live that double life, you get caught up in. So I'm not going to say it was her. It was all me because she did exactly what you're supposed to do. Gave me beautiful kids, take care of the house, take care of corporate stuff. It was just all me. Sometimes when you make a lot of mistakes like that, you can't really come back from that. But as I get older and dwell on situations, I can honestly say it was all me. I had the perfect situation. Wife was finer than a mug. Mm-hmm. Kept giving me babies, still finer than a mug. I had it all. Just sometimes and I don't make excuses. I know I messed up.
I was married for 27 years, and I don't think people understand what that does to you after. You don't just lose the person. You lose the version of the person that existed inside of that. And no one prepares you for what shows up after that.
I interviewed 10 men who were married at one point, and I asked them all what their biggest regret was or the biggest realization they had after they lost their wife, and these are all a few things that they all had in common. One of the gentlemen, who was 43 years old, told me that he wishes he would have spent more time with her as opposed to being so focused on his job, his work, and his career. He was so caught up in his own world that he forgot to involve himself in her world. He told me that he thought that she would always be there no matter what because of the things that he was providing for her. He said that he had to find out the hard way that he was wrong. He believed that she would never leave his side, and he took it for granted. Something else that these men told me was that they were afraid of being vulnerable. They thought that being strong was hiding behind their fears and building those walls. They realized that those walls were just getting in the way of the intimacy between them and their significant other. One of the men even told me that he regretted not being honest about how scared he was of certain things and not expressing himself entirely. And that made me realize how we confuse silence with strength. Something else that I found common among these men was a lot of them told me about their lack of appreciation. They told me that they wish they would have told their wives how much they meant to them every day, how much they love them, and how much they matter to them on a daily basis. Pride was another common regret for most of these men as well. An argument that could have been avoided or maybe dealt with, a disagreement that could have been solved, or an apology that could have healed the dynamic between them and their significant other. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because they let their ego and their pride get in the way.
What's the most pain you felt that wasn't physical?
When I got divorced, I was crushed. It's mental because when you're with someone for nearly 20 years, you have children together. I'm not a big fan of getting divorced and then never speaking to each other ever again. To me, that's wrong.
What's your deepest regret?
The day I had to divorce my wife.
Why is it a deep regret?
That's when my life went into a spiral. I was living life of, just like a drifter, and I'm just so tired of this drifting life. I just want to get my stuff together and just do the right thing, man.
Did you try to patch things up with her?
I've tried, but it was like a real nasty divorce. Today and day, at least I'm able to at least speak to her. At least we speak here and there. So
if you had one message to her right now, what would it be?
I'm so very sorry for everything that I put you through. It's going to be a better day tomorrow. You just wait and see.
Do you have any advice for people who may be going through what you went through?
When you love something, hold on to it. You don't know what you have until you lost it. They don't come better than that sometimes.
Hey guys, the dynamics of a divorce or a separation, they are so intense, and we don't speak mostly about the pain that affects men, and let me just try to break it down. After divorce, you have to leave the house. A man is expected to leave the house. You're leaving your ex there and your kids there. In some way, they are still partially a family unit. Your wife still has the kids still have their mom and the siblings, so partially they are still there. And the dad has to keep on supporting them. And as a man, you are expected to live with nothing. I remember in my case, I left Post-Breakup, left a fully furnitured house, Katamaka Sportsback, to go start up a life. So it's difficult for a man, and you get there and you are alone. It's difficult for a man, and now you can't communicate with your kids because you and this person are not on good terms. When you call after separation, you are being told how useless you are. You are being told, or maybe she's found a new guy, or she's found a real man, and when now you are not a real man, stuff like that. So the dynamics of separations and divorce, I think we don't speak much about the pain that affects guys. It's intense. Guys go through the most alone, and I'm not saying the wife and the kids are not going through the most. They do. But they still have their partial family unit. They have each other. They still have the house. They still have the furniture. They still have everything. A man loses everything. Mona loses everything. You lose everything. If you had bought food for the whole month, you lose that food. Meaning, or you have to go and sleep somewhere.
My divorce broke me. It's not a secret. Mm-hmm. It broke me. I just didn't publicize it. You see, the thing is, you can either publicize your weak moments, or you can amplify what you are good at. And,
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it broke me. Mm-hmm. I became so thin when I was going through. Because, like you are saying, you are imagining yourself building a family. When you got married, you didn't think you'd get divorced.
Sure.
You had a long-term plan of where you want to take your family. And it all comes crumbling down.
The loneliest I've ever felt in my life was when I would lay next to my wife and realize that she didn't want to be there. It wasn't even when she wouldn't be in the house and it's empty and I couldn't hear anything but your own breathing, your own footsteps. It wasn't when I went to the courthouse with the papers and then sat in my car for a couple hours afterward. And it wasn't the months of me sitting in this driveway, mustering the courage to go into the empty house. No, it's literally when I'm not even a foot away from this woman that I still had such love and fondness and respect for, despite everything that she did to me. It's just knowing, with her back turned to me, that she is gone, and she had been gone. She had been gone long before I even came to that realization. That is a tough lesson and realization to comprehend and realize. Yeah, I felt devastatingly alone when I realized that. You know, it wasn't even when I was begging and pleading for her to want to fix things. It was literally when I was in such close proximity, but she was miles. She was so far gone, guys. Life has an interesting way of teaching you these lessons, doesn't it?
I was jealous of my friend's fun young wife, so I got divorced. Now I regret it. Let's look at this post. So this is one of those write-ins where he's asking for advice. He says, things haven't been great with my wife for years. The sex has dwindled and she stopped looking after herself. Last year, a friend got married to a much younger woman. At his stag do, that's like a bachelor party, at his stag do, he bragged about how great it was, how much energy she has, and it really planted a seed of dissatisfaction. I started taking my wife for granted, being quite cold, and I know I haven't made her feel very loved. This part right here. I asked her for a divorce, and to my surprise, she agreed straight away. She's like, I bet, let's go. This part just makes my heart just swell. It says, we've been separated now for the last couple of months, and I feel like I've made a massive mistake. That just makes me feel just so happy. He says, the dating apps at my age are honestly soul sucking, and I haven't had too much interest from other women. That just makes me smile so big. He says, my wife did so much around the house that went unnoticed. She cooked and cleaned for us, is a brilliant mom, and she has such a kind heart. The kids also hate me now. I've really messed up. Is it too late to repair this relationship? So he discarded his wife appliance, and now he's seeing that his wife appliance did a lot. Oh, yeah, I think it is too late to repair this. And I am so happy that you got rid of this woman, this wife appliance, so now she can go off and live her best life, because she was probably being drained. She's probably being drained because she's doing all of the cooking and cleaning, and he didn't even notice. He just probably thought that there was some kind of chef fairy that was making all the food, and a laundry fairy making sure that his clothes were cleaned. I am glad that she is away from this person.
Hey, I'm a 50-year-old man whose second marriage has just failed. I'm on the verge of having to just reinvent everything, and I'm getting comfort from death. But not like in the way you're thinking. In the concept of death, it's kind of given me hope, because at the end of the day, everyone dies. Whether you're happy, sad, in a big family or single, everyone dies. It's the great equalizer. So I've got a choice with how I live my life every day. And I'm really holding on to this now, because my natural instinct is to go to bed and not be able to move and be depressed. But I'm going to die. We're all going to die. And why not try to live each day like it's my last right now? Because one day it's going to be. And I don't want to waste my life being sad or depressed. Do you know what I mean? Do you get that?
Man, I'm trying to push through and do these videos, but I really don't want to. This shit ain't fair, bro. I'm not a perfect man, bro. I never have been, never will be. But one thing I am, I'm a trying man, bro. I work hard to keep myself available, out of prison, alive. And it just ain't good enough, bro. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this, bro. This shit hurts so bad. I worked so hard to keep my family together, and to just be given up on, and what feels like discarded. I don't understand, bro.
You know, when my wife and I got separated, do you know the reason for our physical separation? I don't know if you've ever heard me say it.
I probably have, but
I literally said, I want a divorce, get the F out of my house. And here's the thing, I didn't want a divorce. I didn't. But I knew that I didn't want the marriage the way that it was. And I was hopeful that that would change her when I said this, to prompt her to change, to get her to see the error of her ways. And for some reason, it didn't work. When I told her that I wanted a divorce, instead she left me, got on an airplane, and actually filed a divorce. So now here I am sitting in a big house by myself, single, for the first time in my life, and realized I had made a mistake.
After I got divorced, I realized how much was wrong on the inside with myself. You know, I was not self-aware. I didn't realize how disconnected I was from myself, and how that was affecting the relationship. And I didn't know until it was too late, and I fixed all that, and it took a lot of work. And now the thing is, I'm self-aware, and I shouldn't be continuing to make the same mistakes, but all those patterns that I had are still a part of me. I still have this desire for validation, and I still have this insecurity and all this stuff. I just feel like I've fallen back in to all of these patterns and into the cycle of who I was and who I swore I would never be again, you know? And now that I'm in it, I just feel like I'm lost and I can't come back. But I'm going to. That's what I keep telling myself. You know, I just want to be somebody that can be there fully and be fully emotionally available and love my next partner and be loved by them the way that
I should have in the first place, and hold my next marriage, my next relationship up to the precious standard that it is meant to be.
You know, there's this erroneous impression that I want to deal with quickly, and it's to my fellow men. We sometimes think that divorce is not a loss for a man, like a man doesn't lose anything. Bro, divorce is not a loss only for a woman. Men lose too. Sometimes even more. Many fathers have lost their daily connection with their children after separation. Men also lose their home stability and even the home they've helped build. You see? And the research is very clear. Divorce in men to higher loneliness, poorer mental health, and reduce connection with their kids. So you divorce the woman, you're thinking that, oh, they're found. That is very misleading, you know. Divorce is a loss on both sides. And in fact, for me, I think the men carry heavier loss than the women. You can look at it. You just go and check. A lot of times when the women divorce the men, they're okay. I mean, they're okay. I mean, a woman can be there. She has what to do. She don't know what to do to be okay. So don't be thinking you've done something that is wrong. The woman is complaining about it, that this thing you did, you went to cheat or something like that, and you do your body boss. When the laws will be high on your side. You know, I mean, because we think that when the men leave, they can go, because we can go and look for another woman and all that. So it's not easy, my brother. It's not. Until you are looking for a wife, you might think that wives are all over the place. Women are plenty like that. They're not. A friend of mine was telling me, until you are looking for a wife, a woman to live the rest of your life with, that's where you realize that it is difficult. It's not easy to come by like that. So calm down and work out with that woman if you can, for the sake of the kids and your own sake.
Men who get divorced, their risk of skyrockets. So the question is like, why? And I think it is because of this sense of like not being needed. And it's really interesting, in recent surveys in the US at least, men are now more likely than women to say that it's important to them to get married.
And is that new?
Yes. In the last few decades that line has crossed. And so there's some website where you can plan your perfect wedding, and bridal magazines and dreaming of their wedding. One of the remaining myths is marriage is a thing that women want and that men have to be kind of tricked or coerced into. If anything, it's the other way around now. Women are kind of saying, I'm making decent money, I'm not sure I need him. Like, there's a lot of stuff that comes with being with a guy. There aren't enough good guys around, right? Whereas the men are like, well, what am I supposed to do?